the tool, the weapon of choice, is a lot of the reason why I'm here playing this game. You hooked up your really cheap, awful SNES Advantage controller, or whatever it was called, Super Advantage, and you just whacked really hard on the buttons because it was jolly good fun. So I was a keyboard player since like 2014 until a couple of months ago when I bought my stick. Obviously I'm still getting used to it, but do y'all think an octagonal gate could potentially help? I've never used an octagonal gate, so I don't know. I honestly don't know whether an octagonal gate would help. But I'm tempted to say that an octagonal gate could lull you into like a false sense of security. Like, if the reason you want an octagonal gate is to make quarter circle moves easier, then I'm tempted to suggest that you just need better control of the stick, because a large amount of what's happening, I mean, again, I'm not an expert on this, but I do play on stick personally. A lot of what happens on the stick here, you're not actually riding the gate on the walls. You're mostly doing the motions and you're just hitting the walls of the gate because it's difficult to be so, you've got force when you play. You have to press it pretty hard, or you have to press it pretty fast with a certain amount of velocity, and there's no need to like stop before you hit a certain point. You don't want the stick to go too far, and so that's the reason like there's a gate. But personally, my personal 2 cents on this topic is that the gate isn't there to help you do the move. The gate is there to prevent the stick from going too far and becoming bothersome. If there was no gate, then the stick would just take forever to return, basically. So if you're choosing an octagonal gate because you think it's going to make certain moves easier, it sounds more like you would benefit more from gaining more delicate control of the controller to a point that you're able to do these moves without knocking the gate itself too hard. Okay, but that's just my personal opinion. HitBox, to be honest, HitBox probably is the future. I think there will always be a place for this stick, but we already know, basically, that there are more optimal ways to play fighting games than to use an arcade stick. It's a lot of fun. And if you said that I have to play on HitBox to play fighting games, I would do it, but it would take away the charm. It's like saying if you want to play on the drums, you have to play on electric drums. It's like, well, yeah, an electric drum kit is going to be lighter, more versatile, and more able to fit into any situation than a traditional drum kit. Because if you buy a big bassy kit or you buy a fusion jazz kit, then you're limited to the number of places that you can play and the styles that you can take part in. If you said we all have to play electric drums or there's no point, you can't have a career, at that point I'd be like, well, I don't want to give up on acoustic drums. I got into this because I like the feel of acoustic drums, and for me, the tool, the weapon of choice, is a lot of the reason why I'm here playing this game. I mean, obviously I'm really into the mind games now, and the proper, back and forth battle of two heads going head to head in a fighting game. I get that part now, but for me, it was just a game that you bought on the Super Nintendo. You hooked up your really cheap, awful SNES Advantage controller, or whatever it was called, Super Advantage, and you just whacked really hard on the buttons because it was jolly good fun. So yeah, I agree. I think HitBox probably is the future of fighting games, but for now, there are still enough games that are competitively viable on stick that you will still see a lot of this in tournaments. But don't be surprised if all of your favorite pro players have moved over to HitBox by next year or the year after. I mean, already, I don't know if you guys have been keeping an eye on fighting game Twitter in Japan, but there's a bit of a HitBox renaissance going on right now. There's a lot of people swapping over to HitBox. Hey, talking of which, the developer of this game, well, one of the developers of this game, Kamone, French bread, the developer of Under Night In-Birth, he's doing a stream. He's like day 35 or whatever of playing HitBox on on Under Night In-Birth. So there you go. Developer of the game is playing on HitBox. We know that Daigo switched over to HitBox. We know that Tokido is playing on HitBox. We know Kawano is playing on HitBox. We know a lot of these people who are playing on HitBox are also getting all of their buddies and friends to play on HitBox. Developer approved. Japan approved. I will be a little sad when Fight Stick no longer is competitively viable, but personally, I will always have a love for playing on stick. It's sad to hear. It's sad to think that it might go away. But who knows? There might be an arcade stick renaissance. Maybe people will. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tokido said he was playing on HitBox, wasn't he? Pretty sure I saw a post on Twitter. Don't quote me on that though. Anyway, what I'm saying is, who knows? Maybe there will be a renaissance where people all come running back to arcade stick because they discovered that something is easier on it, like 360 motions maybe. There's the other thing is with charge motions playing on pad. What was it? I think we talked about this in one of the HitBox videos or one of the videos I made. But just the distance from your thumb going from here to here, that's super fast on a pad. But then again, even faster on a HitBox. So learning other characters definitely helps you know what kind of tools and options they have, even if you don't plan on maining it. So true. So true. But also, I've found that my execution in this game is so much easier since I've been playing multiple characters. When I played this game a year and a half ago on stream, we played Linnea and Seth. And I spent a long time just trying to figure out how to play those characters. But this time, what I've done is I've played like a new character every week, or every few days really. I played Phonon, well I was playing Phonon for a few months before, to be honest. I was playing Phonon, then Eltnum, Hyde, Wagner, Gordeau. I think that's all the characters I've tried so far, in addition to last year's Linnea and Seth. And I think as a result, now my hand just gets it more. With Under Night, I know what it's looking for, like which times you want to use forward for dash instead of the dash macro, because I feel like there's better situations when you want to use the macro and situations when you don't want to use the macro. I've found that I'm a little more delicate with the stick, like I was mentioning about Wagner combos earlier. I think I played on stick more forcefully in Street Fighter. I was like, okay, I want to be absolutely sure that I've got my stick in the right place. But with this game, I find like I'm not dainty, but I feel like I'm more controlled. I'm more controlled and slightly more delicate. Not very delicate. I'm like delicate, but mostly just I'm focusing on like control. If you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, do that right now. You can click the button somewhere in the app. It's probably here or something. So click subscribe, that would be great. It's free to do so. If you want to become a member, feel free to do so, though that's probably better if you wait till a stream, because then your name will like pop up and you'll see so-and-so has become a member. That's powerful support for me as well. And follow me on Twitter. See you all next time. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.